Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dawn Huffey. I'm the owner of Liberty Belle Coaching, and my life coaching certifications came through the Brave Thinking Institute. Today is April 9th of 2025. I remembered the date. I want to keep doing that. So when you open this up and you hear me speaking, you'll know what day I'm speaking on. I just posted a few days ago that I am running a special on one of the programs that I coach clients through, and that program is working with the law. That program is based on this book, and it was written by Raymond Halliwell. There are 12 chapters in the book. We'll go through all 12 chapters. The first chapter is an introduction to working with the law, and then the other 11 chapters are all individual laws. And I'll give you an example of some of the laws. The law of thinking, the law of supply, the law of attraction. A lot of us are familiar with that one. The law of receiving. And today I'm going to do my best to teach you about the law of non-resistance. Learning this law has helped me so much in my relationships, and I think it will help you too. Before I go into that law, I want to back up and give you a little bit of history about my coach, Mary Morrissey, and how she became interested in these laws and studied these laws. So in 1973, Mary Morrissey, my coach, went to a conference where Raymond Halliwell was the keynote speaker. She was so enthralled by his presentation that after he was done speaking and the conference was done, she raced up to speak to him. And as she was talking to him, she found out that he was the president of a seminary. Well, Mary decided she wanted to learn from him. So 4 months later, she had moved her family to be within just a few blocks of this seminary. And she went to this training for 2 years and learned from Raymond Halliwell. 22 years later, Mary met Bob Proctor. They had a common friend, and the friend kept saying, "You got to meet each other. You got to meet this person." And finally, Bob and Mary agreed to this breakfast. They immediately became fast friends, and they talked about what they had studied. And Bob mentioned working with the law, and this was such common ground for them. Now, the reason I'm telling you all of this information and why it's important to you is because when you enroll in this program, you will be coached by both Mary and Bob in the trainings. Of course, I'll be there too, but the main training and the information comes from Mary Morrissey and Bob Proctor. It's a phenomenal training, and I think you'll love it. All right. Now, I'm going to go into the law of non-resistance. At the beginning of each chapter, Raymond puts a quote, and oftentimes it's a quote from the Bible. I went to look up this Bible verse, and I looked up the wrong Bible verse. He had Matthew 5:39, and I just looked up Matthew 5:9, and I thought, wait a second. I'm not sure that this really pertains to what he's talking about, but in the end, I knew it wasn't a mistake. So I want to read you Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. This law is about staying in peace. It's about maintaining your harmony. For years, I thought if somebody was doing something wrong or I didn't like what they were doing, it was my job to go up and instruct them and resist against what they were doing and tell them how to do it. Well, does that go over very well? No. Do I like people coming up to me and telling me what to do? Absolutely not. And when I finally got the revelation, you better stop doing that or you're going to wreck every relationship you have. My life and my relationships got so much better, and yours will too. Okay, so the law of non-resistance is based on not being resistant to people and things. As I was thinking about teaching you, I decided I'm going to look up the word resistance. So it is a force that tends to oppose. So I was going to oppose people because I thought, that behavior was wrong or whatever it was. I thought they were doing wrong and needed to instruct them. So I was in opposition, which is completely out of harmony. Of course, it becomes contentious and people get defensive. I also looked up the word resist. It means to take action to defeat or thwart. So I was trying to defeat and thwart other people in their path. Is that my job? No. Another definition, to take action to eliminate, reduce, or stop. So the next time you see something out there that you don't like and you really want to get into the mix of it, you might want to think about the law of non-resistance. Resistance fails because it is not in accord with harmony and order, which is the law. Order is the first law of the universe. And so when we get out of order, out of alignment, into other people's territory where we don't belong, we get into disharmony and we don't want to go there. It's not good for us. It's not good for anybody. We think we have to outwit and break down the opposition. We don't. We don't have to get in the face of what we think they're doing wrong. I mean, a lot of us learned this over the last 4 or 5 years with all of the different opinions about what we can do and what we can't do, what we should do and what we shouldn't do, what we want people to do and what we don't want people to do. So many people ruin their relationships over opinions. And I am so grateful that I trained with Mary Morrissey in 2020 when all of this hullabaloo was going on. So I knew how to handle all this. And my relationships stay intact with the people that I love and care about. Do not use your energy to outwit or break down the opposition. It doesn't turn out well. Okay, now there is a visual that I want to give you that has worked so well for me. Just pretend or imagine that you're flowing down a stream and there's a great big boulder in the stream. Now, the boulder is something that you're opposed to, something that you don't like, something that you think is wrong. Are you going to bang up against the boulder? Or are you going to float around it? When I first started doing this, I really had to get this visual in my mind. And I would say to myself, okay, there's that person and there, I know that this is going on with them. And I would think, just flow around them, Dawn. Because I was breaking patterns. I had to break patterns. It takes perseverance to break patterns. You can't quit. You can't give up or else the pattern remains and it gets you into trouble. I mean, these detrimental patterns get you into trouble. So I just had to remind myself, just flow around their stuff. Just be kind and flow around their stuff. Greet them and flow around it. This is just a little bit of what you will learn in the Working with the Law program. It's such a phenomenal program, and I think you will love it. So if you want to learn more about it, just send me a message or send me an email, and I will get back to you and we will get you started. So the special is running for the whole month of April. It's 25% off, which is quite a savings. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.